Hello everybody, my name is Tim C. This documentary is about a place in Detroit which is at times been known notoriously as the Cass Corridor. The Cass Corridor was a place where I guess you could say the people that lived in degradation from society would tend to congregate because of the fact that hassle from the police was minimum and the availability of drugs was overwhelming. Addiction Action is based on Detroit's most dangerous at one time and most favorite spot for the choice of people who live in total degradation. Heroin, crack, panhandlers, gang activity, prostitution, and the greatest number of homeless people, and one of the smallest spatially areas in the city of Detroit. Because of the well-known and powerful rich family called the Illages, one of the most dangerous and drug-infested projects, the Jeffries, has been torn down and is going to be made into middle-class, lower middle-class, affordable housing. And because of that fact, most of the homeless have been driven out of that area. And to be quite honest with you, I don't know where these people have gone. At one time there were several shelters in the Cass Corridor, soup kitchens. There was a park where people literally pulled up mattresses and couches, and any place there was a small, densely populated clump of trees that was big enough to accommodate a couch and a bed, it became a makeshift home, or should I say hangout, or do spot, which means on street layman terms, a do spot is a place to go to get high, either to do heroin or, smoke crack or drink. It's a do spot, a place to go do your thing. Well, being that the Illages tore down the Jeffries, like I said, that obviously chased a lot of that particular crowd out of that area. It's going to host some condominium type housing, which theoretically will be affordable, and technically, if it's a nice enough, safe enough area, they'll be able to lure some of the lower middle class that can't afford housing out here because of the interest rates into that area, some maybe even qualifying for Section 8 depending on their income. That I'm not sure about. There was also a high-rise building called the Salvation Army Harbor Light Building, which was a rehab. It was a very old building, and with that building, because it was a rehab and drew quite a few of the drug culture type people, it was a haven for people in the cubby holes in the doorways, shooting up, smoking crack. I mean, right on a treatment center facility. It was quite a sight to see. It was a very, very, very strange situation to see this alley behind a rehab just full of people dealing and using drugs. However, they have moved out also, and with them went a lot of the quote-unquote, pardon me, riffraff. Harbor Light did nothing more than attract more of the same kind of people that they were trying to help. And I don't mean attracting them to the facility to get help. I mean because there were so many people that were on drugs in the facility that it drew dope dealers and users alike to that area, because it became a popular area for a place to go purchase and use drugs. It was like walking into a totally separate universe. I've seen people just shoot up in broad daylight on corners, next to intersections, next to the side of the road, on the sidewalk, while traffic's driving by, and didn't think twice of it. For years before that, there was a specialty, what they call a specialty landmark. There was notorious for drug sales, prostitution, and anything of the above. Was a super high-rise hotel called the Eddystone. And this was the kind of place that would be in maybe some sort of documentary called Scared Straight. Because when I walked in there, the first time I ever walked in, I had to be with somebody I knew, or I might not have came out alive. And the closest thing I compare it to is a scene out of New Jack City, for those of you who have seen that. Because it was literally taken over by drug addicts and drug dealers. The crack, heroin, prostitution laden Titanic twin structures known as the Brewster Projects was also torn down, and was a haven for low income, majority of people with substance abuse problems. I personally lived in the corridor and was using heroin and cocaine for a number of years. And again, like I said, it was like kind of stepping into some kind of parallel universe, if you will. Castech High School, which has been rebuilt in a brand new structure in the same neighborhood, still stands next to the old Cass Corridor, which is nothing more than maybe a preserved landmark at this point. I don't know if they're going to tear it down or not, and to be honest with you, I don't know if they have since the last time I've been down there. It hasn't been that long, but you never know. There were those rare times that I managed to keep a roof over my head, and I wasn't homeless. I had a room. And in the Cass Corridor, if you had a room, you were kind of looked up to, because not too many people had a room in the Cass Corridor. And of course, you had the place to hang out. You know, should you have your own place in the Cass Corridor, you, like I said, were considered somewhat upper echelon you know, as compared to a lot of these people. I also would tease people a lot about the several soup kitchens and shelters in the Cass Corridor that I believe created a perfect haven for the growth of this degeneration. Because if people think they can get something for free, especially food, and not have to work for it, and just have to hustle up their dope money, why should they spend time looking for a job to get a job when they can get everything they want, including clothes and food, several times a day at several different locations, and some of the food is actually good? Why should they go get a job when it can be handed to them for free? That doesn't give people inspiration to go try to do things for themselves. I'm not saying it's bad to let people starve, but in the same sense, I think they should offer some employment incentive programs with the ability to be able to use the soup kitchen, so that these people don't think that this is going to go on forever, and maybe if they get some incentive to say, well, you know, for every 20 times you come here, you have to show 10 places and prove that you tried to put in an application. Now, I know times are rough, but that doesn't mean that people can't try. That's how I feel about it. Yeah, if you went hungry in the Cass Corridor, it's because you were too lazy to get your fat ass up and walk somewhere to go get something to eat. Because there's no excuse for anybody to starve there. Nobody had to starve in the Cass Corridor. No one did. Many of the soup kitchens and churches that feed like I said, without just a token, which didn't cost you anything, you could literally get a free meal. And again, I say if you decided to starve, it was because you were fucking lazy and too complacent or comfortable to get your lazy ass up to go get something to eat. And